and I feel like I had a lot of conversations with Germans who were either planning a trip to the US or talking to me about their dream trip to the US. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kelly again, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the biggest mistakes that a German might make when they come and visit the United States. These are all mistakes that a German has either told me they've made themselves, or they know someone who has made this mistake, or it's a mistake I've seen a German actually make. By the way, I'm filming this at 7 o'clock in the morning before work. First up, do not blindly cross the street. Guys, I cannot stress this to you enough. That's why I'm making it the very first thing that I'm talking about in this video. Do not just walk out into a pedestrian crossing or a crosswalk and expect cars to stop for you. It's taken me a really long time to finally accept and admit that collectively Americans are just not the greatest drivers, especially compared to Germans. In Germany, in order to get a driver's license, you have to spend about 2,000 euro, give or take, to take a very intensive driving course, followed by some exams before you're allowed to get your driver's license at age 18. In the US, you can usually get your driver's license at age 16, if not younger. And let's just say that the requirements to get a driver's license is a little bit more laxed. When you walk around Germany and then you walk around the United States, the difference in driving skills as a result of this is more than apparent. In Germany, you can trust that drivers will stop for pedestrians. In the US, it should never be assumed that the driver is going to both see you and stop to allow you to cross. You know what? It should actually just never be assumed that the driver is going to stop at the stop sign, or the red light for that matter, or stop before they get to the crosswalk. And to make things a little trickier, in most states you're allowed to take a right turn on a red light. And so sometimes drivers get so focused on making sure that traffic coming to their left is clear so that they can make a right turn, they might not even realize that a pedestrian is now in the crosswalk that they are about to drive through. Guys, it's so bad that you see people even kind of run across the street, even though they have the right of way, because we're so conditioned to dealing with aggressive and crappy drivers. So please do not make the mistake of just blindly walking out into the street. Make sure you stop, look to your left, look to your right, make eye contact with the drivers, and make sure they're actually going to stop for you before you just walk out into the street. Don't think that a green cross on a building means that it is a pharmacy. My boyfriend hilariously made this mistake, and I talk about it in one of the videos where I discuss some of the culture shocks he experienced in the US, and a lot of Germans wrote to say that they made the same mistake or they would have assumed the exact same thing he did. In Germany, you'll see a big red A for Apotheke, or a red A with a green cross, or maybe even just a green cross used in order to designate that shop as a pharmacy. While in the US, a green cross means that it is a cannabis dispensary, meaning they are selling medical marijuana. So if you're looking for some medication and some sunscreen, don't go into a building marked with a green cross. You're not gonna find what you want, I promise. We also seem to have far fewer standalone pharmacies than what you see in Germany. Walking around a city in Germany, it feels as though there's an apotheke on every other street. I would actually dare say that the frequency of apothekas in Germany matches the frequency of Starbucks in the US. But while you won't see a ton of small standalone pharmacies in the cities of the US, there are some big chain pharmacies like CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and you can also find pharmacies in most grocery stores and department stores like Walmart, Target, and Giant. So if you're in the US and looking for a pharmacy, don't forget to consider these types of stores. Make sure that you know the alcohol laws. Guys, the laws regulating alcohol in the US are so different from what they are in Germany. In Germany, 14-year-olds are allowed to drink beer and wine so long as they are under the supervision of their guardian. In the US, the minimum drinking age, regardless of the alcohol or circumstance, is 21. Many bars and other drinking establishments like nightclubs won't even let you enter unless you're 21, and there will often be a bouncer checking IDs, so make sure you bring an ID with you. Same goes for purchasing alcohol at a store. Always have your ID on you. Now, when buying alcohol from a store, this really varies state to state. There are dry states where you have to go to a state-run liquor store to buy liquor and wine, and a beer distributor to buy beer. And then there are states where you can buy alcohol at normal grocery stores, and so on. But the type of alcohol, the hours in which you can purchase it, and the amount you can purchase at one time greatly varies state to state. But with all that said, if you aren't 21, do not drink alcohol or even try to purchase it in the US unless you want to risk having your visa revoked. And lastly, don't drink in public. Sure, we have some outdoor fests where you can drink or outdoor cafes, but you cannot take your drink with you if you want to leave the premises, as this is totally illegal in most cities, with the exception of New Orleans and Las Vegas and just a few others. Don't ever think that the sticker price is the final price that you're going to pay. Unfortunately, in the US, we do not include sales tax and other taxes in the prices. And by the way, sales tax varies state to state, county to county, and even product to product. For example, in Pennsylvania, most clothing items aren't subject to sales tax, but in Colorado, those same clothing items are subject to state tax. So everywhere you spend money in the US, whether it's at a store, at a bar, at a restaurant, at a hair salon, at a hotel, or even if you're ordering pizza, understand that the sticker price is usually not the final price, or you're most likely going to be surprised at the cash register or when your final bill comes. So in most cases, you will end up spending more than $1 for a dollar item at the dollar store. Furthermore, we have a really strong tipping culture in the United States. Of course, you're going to be expected to tip your server at a restaurant or your bartender at a bar, and then after that, the protocol around tipping is a little bit less defined, but it's in good taste to tip your hairdresser, your nail technician, your tour guide, your Uber driver, your taxi driver, your massage therapist. Basically, anyone who provides you with a service is someone that maybe you should think about tipping. Another big mistake is underestimating just how big the US is. It's massive, and I feel like I had a lot of conversations with Germans who were either planning a trip to the US or talking to me about their dream trip to the US, and they wanted to spend a week there and drive from New York City to LA or drive from New York City to Miami. By the way, those are the 3 cities that I hear people say they want to visit the US the most. I don't know if I agree with that. But anyway, to get from New York City to Miami is 1,279 miles, or 2,058 kilometers, which equates to about a 19-hour drive. And to get from New York City to LA, it's a whopping 2,790 miles, or 4,490 kilometers, which is a 42-hour drive. That's only 2 hours shorter than what it would be to drive from Lisbon, Portugal, all the way to Moscow, Russia. There's a joke in the US that we don't measure distance by miles, we measure it by hours. And you can perhaps understand why this is after considering just how long you would have to drive to get across a couple of states. Along the same subject, do not expect to be able to take public transportation everywhere that you want to go in the US. Now in major cities, we do have buses and metros or subways, and we have the Amtrak train system and some buses like Greyhound for longer distance travel, but the availability of these assets are very, very limited compared to Germany. In Germany, it felt to me like I was able to take a train or a bus to everywhere I wanted to go. I might pay a pretty penny for it, but I can get there with public trans and good planning. Whereas in the US, we are much more reliant on our cars for a number of reasons. So whenever you're visiting, just don't expect to be able to use public transportation to get to all of your destinations. And now a quick word about our sponsor for today's video. You guys may have seen the videos I did with Doug Maidenford about the Pennsylvania Dutch, and for the last 2 years, Doug has been working with two German filmmakers on a documentary called Hiva wie Driva, which tells the story of the Pennsylvania Dutch, their language, their culture, their history, and how they compare to where they originally immigrated from in the Rhineland-Pfalz region. The documentary is officially complete, and there will be screenings in various locations throughout Germany in April and May. The schedule for the first 8 showings is on the screen and will also be in the description box below the video, along with some links where you can find some more information about the documentary. Doug will also be at the screenings himself, so make sure you find him and say hi. One last mistake that I want to cover in this video is do not smoke around people, around entrances to buildings. It's probably safest if you just don't smoke outside in public at all. And that's because smoking is really not socially accepted in the US anymore. And I know that's in huge contrast to Germany, although not as much of a contrast to what I experienced when I was living in Turkey, where I felt like there was just a cloud of smoke hanging over that country because everyone smoked. But guys, in general, Americans, we really don't like correcting each other. We don't like bothering each other at all, really, unless it's for small talk. We love some small talk, but I have seen people correct someone and tell them that they need to either put their cigarette out or walk away if they want to continue smoking, because it's just considered to be really rude to force someone else to breathe in your secondhand smoke. You will see tons of no smoking signs in the US or signs telling you how far away from a building you're allowed to smoke. It would really be a big mistake to not just adhere to the restrictions prescribed on these signs. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today, but I'm really curious to hear what sort of mistakes maybe you've made when you visited the US, or you've heard about someone else making, or maybe you've seen something yourself that you want to share with me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified every single time that I post a new video. And guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting stories showing some bits of US culture or some evidence of German influence in the US, or I'm just making fun of myself and or Misha to his expense. And thank you so much to my patrons for all the support you've given me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!